It's Mike Messier. When I was a kid, it was these Civil War chess set was always advertised on TV. When I was watching either cartoons or even professional wrestling, the Civil War chess set from the fine Franklin Mint, fine pewter, and you could order every other month. You'd get for $17.95 a chess piece, two chess pieces actually for $17.95, but they'd come every other month. So it would take so long to gather this thing. I always found it fascinating that the war that killed more Americans than any other war in our history, the Civil War, because we fought ourselves. We killed each other. We killed ourselves. I just saw Michael Moore's new film, Fahrenheit 11/9. It's a play on Fahrenheit 9/11, the film that he did during the George Bush administration. So this is kind of Michael Moore's commentary on the Trump administration. But there's plenty of fingers to point in this film. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton's the way that she kind of more or less stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders. And so the divisiveness within the own Democratic Party, which kind of allowed for Trump to have his fan base elect him president. But there are more issues in this film. The polluted water of very close to Michael Moore's home in his heart, Flint, Michigan, the amount of lead in the water that Americans were drinking because of greed and corruption of the governor of that state, the Parkland high school shootings, and other subject matter. Even Obama is under criticism for Michael Moore in this one. So if you thought you knew Michael Moore, if you thought that he was just on one side of these debates, think again, because there's plenty of blame to go around. Even Bernie Sanders, who Michael Moore doesn't point this out, but I will. I mean, it seemed like he had to have known that he had more votes than Hillary Clinton. And rather than fight or put up some type of response, Bernie Sanders kind of rolled over like the family dog and allowed Hillary to walk into that nomination and go against Trump. And we all know what happened. Right now, there was not many people in this film, in the audience. There's about 25 people in this audience. I do remember a time when a Michael Moore film was an event, a documentary, and people would come out to see it. And maybe it's just the theater that I'm in. Obviously, I'm in a quaint little village here in safe New England for the most part. But it does seem like with the amount of YouTube videos and proliferation of conspiracy videos or people who get alternate news sources, that a Michael Moore film or documentary doesn't quite have the gusto it did 10 or 15 years ago. I remember the first Michael Moore film I saw, which was Roger and Me. And although I've learned since that Moore might have manipulated some of the footage in that piece to make himself look like a saint, and it wasn't a true documentary, but it was kind of a documentary narrative argument, that film and all of the films that he's done are very important because they raise issues that a lot of people don't want to raise. And Moore has got this down to a science. This is of the moment film, of the time film. I suggest people go out and see Fahrenheit 11/9, which is a notation on the fact that the elections, November 9th. When I think about that Civil War chess set, I didn't have one as a kid. It was expensive. And trying to justify to your parents when they're buying you wrestling magazines and comic books and whatever else, movie tickets, that you also want a Civil War chess set, just probably wasn't in our agenda for me as a kid. But about 10 years ago, I found a Civil War chess set on Craigslist for about $90. I went out and I bought that fucking Civil War chess set, which I still have proudly. And it might seem kind of an odd thing to have because death is not a game and war is not a game, at least for people that have to fight it. For the politicians, it seems to be. But I do wonder, and I do think that if there is another civil war, it won't be slavery, it won't be abolition that are the topics of debate. It'll be civil war between class structure, between the elitists, the haves, and the have-nots. And if anyone out there thinks that they can make their life worth something more than just a blue thumb on Facebook or a retweet on Twitter. Maybe you'll do something in your life so profound, so prolific, so meaningful that the fine folks, the fine artisans at the Franklin Mint will put you in pewter. I guess the final question for everybody is, which side of that war will you be immortalized on? It's Mike Messier.